What's up, guys? Look, I got my glasses on today. I'm trying to look smart for you. I got my Four Gospels coffee mug, and we are ready to roll. I want to talk about something a little different today. I want to talk about money. Now, this is going to be, like I said, a little different, okay? But an issue that I've noticed, that's kind of a recurring theme with some of my patients, and I thought, well, I've never really done a video on this. Maybe we should talk about it. Is what do you do like when you're kind of starting to get your life back on track? You're in that recovery process. You're not wasting all your money on drugs anymore. But a lot of folks are in bad shape financially, right? Maybe because they've had, trouble with their jobs because of their history of addiction. And again, they're bankrupt or, they're in severe debt. And that debt could be to the bank. That debt could be to friends or family. What do you do? How do you rebuild it? How do you start to gain momentum and get traction in life again? So that you can be stable, because so many of my patients are kind of living paycheck to paycheck, even though they're clean and stable and sober. The first thing you want to try to do is, now of course this is just kind of my opinion, but when I was younger, man, I read this book. It was like The Millionaire Next Door, and then I listened to a ton of Dave Ramsey when I was in like college and medical school. I think it was medical school and residency. And so I always kind of had this idea of trying to stay out of debt, not trying to just to have flashy things just because somebody else had flashy things. Now, look, I've been in my career for a long time now, and I can have a nice truck, but like I have been able to save, and I've been able to, invest kind of wisely so that I could build a future, right? And doing things in a way so that you're not like just going for immediate gratification, you're planning for the future. And that's kind of what you have to do, not only to fight addiction, but you have to do to get your money back on hand. So the first thing I would recommend is trying to get out of debt. Now, if you have no money, how do you get out of debt, right? Well, you've got to figure out if you're how much you're making versus how much you're spending. So a lot of folks are going to improve their lives just by spending less. Now, again, if you're in that early stage of recovery, you're already spending less because you're not buying drugs. So that should allow you to save up money, and you want to save up enough to have some type of emergency fund. An emergency fund should cover you for like 1 to 3 months if all of a sudden you have zero income, okay? Or not only that, so that's how you kind of plan how much do you need in your emergency fund. So if you had zero income, how much money would you need to survive on, okay? And I would try to have about 3 months worth of income. That's a lot of money saved up. But the other thing is, what do you use that emergency fund for? Well, you don't use it for Netflix or or whatever, but you use it if your car breaks down. You take from the emergency fund and you get your car going so you can keep going to work, okay? And then you start saving again, and you replenish the emergency fund. Then once you've got your emergency fund, that's when you start tackling your debt, whatever debt it is. And I'm not going to go into all the details on how to pay off debt. Like I said, read some Dave Ramsey. There's lots of people with financial advice, but I think the problem is people start having money, and then what they start doing is spending it, right? So instead, focus on not having to have everything you want right now, right? But instead just trying to plan and build your future, okay? And maybe that means you eat more simply. Maybe that means, you don't subscribe to every, if you have no money, you don't need to be, you don't need Netflix. You don't need a Netflix subscription. You don't need all these other things that you have to pay monthly for, okay? You need to pay attention to those little things. Those little things will add up. Doesn't mean you can't have them down the road, but maybe you just go a year without this and you save a little bit of money. You take that $10 a month and you put it towards your emergency fund, and then you just kind of keep building. And you say, I'm telling you, this works. I had a guy who was in a bad living situation, and that's what he did. He saved up his emergency fund. He had it, and then he started saving towards getting a new place. Okay, well, what happened? His truck broke down. I mean, it's kind of like what I just said. His truck broke down, but he had the money. He got it fixed. Like, so it didn't stop him. He then just had to get back. He had to stop investing, saving the money for his new place, and had to put it back in his emergency fund. And that's fine. He did it, and he's back on track. You know. This typically works. Now, obviously, the more income you have, the easier it is, right? Except what happens to most folks, depending on how much money you have, that's how much money you spend. You got to get out of that mindset. You got to think more abundantly and think more that you're going to save and spend frugally, okay, when you purchase anything. And consider the costs, and the cost is not the dollar price. The cost is what it costs you mentally, what it costs you emotionally, what it's going to cost you down the road. That is the full cost of anything. All right, guys, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any specific questions, I'm not like a financial guru. I just want to help folks get back on their feet. And if you have a specific question about money or whatever, and if I think I can help you, I will try to answer that, or we'll do another video. All right, guys, peace.